Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered when exactly that spark inside you started to fade? When did you stop feeling that natural motivation, that strength to get up, face the day, and truly feel alive? Do you ever wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep, feeling as if something deep inside is shutting down little by little? Do you sometimes feel less excited, less curious, less passionate about life itself, almost like your energy and enthusiasm have been quietly stolen without your permission? Many seniors believe this is just a part of aging, something natural that can't be avoided. But what if that's not true? What if something far simpler, something you do every single day without even realizing it, is quietly draining your life force? What if there are 8 common daily habits that are slowly killing your drive, your energy, and even your will to stay active and connected to life itself? And what if one of them is happening right now? As you listen to this today, you'll finally understand what those hidden habits are, how they damage your mind and body more than age itself, and what you can do, starting today, to bring that spark back to life. But before we go any further, take a second and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. It helps us understand your reality and bring more useful information to people just like you. Now, imagine this. A man named Robert, 72 years old, used to be full of life. He woke up early every morning, cooked breakfast for his wife, took long walks with his dog, and even helped his neighbors fix small things around the house. But over time, something began to change. He started skipping his morning walks. He began waking up later, saying he just didn't have the same motivation anymore. Soon, he stopped going out altogether. His wife noticed that he wasn't smiling as much, that he preferred sitting in silence watching television. When Robert finally visited his doctor, his tests came back mostly normal. No new disease, no major condition, but still, he felt half alive. What his doctor didn't tell him, and what most doctors never say, is that Robert was being drained by his own habits. Habits so common that no one questions them. Habits that slowly destroy your internal rhythm, rob your brain of natural drive chemicals, and make your body behave as if it were decades older than it really is. The truth is that drive, whether it's emotional, physical, or mental, is not something that simply disappears with age. Science shows that your brain still has the ability to create energy, motivation, and even excitement at any age. The problem is not age itself, but the hidden habits that keep your body and brain from functioning the way they should. And the worst part? Most of these habits are things you've been told are normal, even healthy. That's what makes them so dangerous. You might think you're doing the right thing when, in reality, you're slowly shutting off your natural energy systems day after day. But once you identify these 8 daily habits, everything begins to make sense. You start noticing how certain things you do, small, innocent actions, are directly connected to the fatigue, apathy, and lack of drive that so many people over 60 complain about. Let's start with the first silent killer of your natural drive, the habit of skipping real breakfast. For years, people were told that skipping breakfast helps you lose weight or gives your body a break. But for seniors, this is one of the worst things you can do. When you wake up, your body is already low on glucose, which is the brain's main fuel. If you go hours without eating something nourishing, your brain begins to conserve energy. It shuts down dopamine production, the same chemical responsible for motivation, focus, and pleasure. This is why so many people say they feel dull or lazy in the morning. They're not lazy, they're running on empty. A proper breakfast doesn't mean coffee and toast. It means real fuel, like protein and healthy fats. Eggs, oatmeal with nuts, or even a small bowl of yogurt with fruit can completely change how you feel within days. When seniors begin their day with proper nutrition, the brain turns back on, energy rises, focus improves, and the inner spark that felt lost suddenly begins to return. The second habit is staying indoors too long. It may seem harmless, even safe, but it's one of the biggest energy traps of aging. Natural light is like a switch for your body's internal clock. When sunlight hits your eyes in the morning, it sends a signal to your brain to stop producing melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy, and start producing serotonin, the chemical that lifts your mood and drives motivation. Seniors who spend most of their day indoors, watching TV, reading, or doing chores, are often unknowingly blocking this process. Without daily sunlight, the brain doesn't know when to wake up fully, so you end up in a half-awake state all day long. Studies show that even 15 minutes of sunlight in the morning can completely reset this rhythm and dramatically increase energy and drive. Yet, countless older adults spend entire days without stepping outside, telling themselves they're just tired, when in truth, their body's rhythm is simply confused. The third silent destroyer of drive is overconsumption of news and screens. It might seem unrelated, but what happens when you constantly feed your brain negative or overly stimulating information is that your stress response stays activated. The body produces cortisol, the stress hormone, which in small doses keeps you alert, but in high doses, it crushes motivation, slows metabolism, and drains emotional energy. Seniors who watch hours of news or scroll endlessly on their phones often feel anxious or numb without knowing why. They think it's age or loneliness, but it's not. It's chronic overstimulation. The human brain wasn't made to process that much negativity every day. Over time, this leads to what scientists call dopamine burnout. You no longer feel excited about simple things because your brain is overloaded. The solution is simple but powerful. Limit screen exposure, especially in the morning and before bed. Instead, spend time outside, listen to calm music, or call a loved one. Within a week, you'll start noticing a clearer mind and stronger sense of purpose. The fourth daily mistake that kills drive is poor hydration. It sounds too simple to be true, but dehydration is one of the leading causes of fatigue in people over 60. As we age, the brain's thirst signals weaken. You may not feel thirsty, but your cells are screaming for water. When you're dehydrated, blood flow slows, oxygen levels drop, and brain performance falls sharply. Even a 2% drop in hydration can reduce concentration, memory, and motivation. Many seniors believe they're just tired or forgetful, when, in reality, they're dehydrated. If you drink mostly coffee, tea, or juice, you're not hydrating properly. The best approach is to drink small amounts of water regularly throughout the day. Keeping a glass of water nearby at all times is one of the simplest ways to revive your energy and alertness almost instantly. Now, we come to a fifth and often overlooked cause, the lack of meaningful movement. Notice I didn't say exercise. Senior, many people hear that word and immediately imagine gyms, weights, or routines that feel impossible. But your body doesn't need that. It just needs movement that feels natural and consistent. When you stop moving regularly, even simple things like walking around the house or gardening, your muscles send fewer signals to your brain, and this affects how much dopamine and serotonin you produce. You feel dull because your body literally stopped talking to your brain. This is why seniors who stay physically active through dancing, stretching, or simple walks always seem more alive. Their body keeps communicating with the brain, maintaining that natural rhythm that keeps energy flowing. The beauty is that even light movement, done daily, can reverse this. The sixth dangerous habit is eating too late at night. It's common to snack while watching TV before bed, but this innocent habit confuses your body's internal clock. When you eat late, your digestion system keeps working while your brain tries to rest. This prevents proper production of hormones like melatonin and growth hormone, both essential for recovery and vitality. Over time, poor sleep leads to low testosterone and low dopamine, two key chemicals that determine drive and motivation in both men and women. If you've ever felt groggy or heavy in the morning, chances are your body never truly rested. Try to finish dinner at least 2 hours before sleeping. You'll notice deeper rest, clearer thoughts, and a more natural sense of energy in the morning. And as strange as it sounds, the seventh daily habit that destroys drive is keeping your emotions bottled up. Many seniors grew up in times when expressing feelings was seen as weakness, but repressed emotions act like a hidden weight. When you constantly suppress frustration, sadness, or fear, your body stays in a mild state of tension all the time. Muscles tighten, breathing shorten, and your brain interprets this as a state of danger. It stops producing the chemicals of joy and motivation because it believes it needs to protect you. The moment you start expressing how you feel through writing, talking, or simply being honest with yourself, this pattern begins to change. Emotional openness reactivates your natural vitality. It's not therapy, it's physiology. Finally, the eighth and most destructive daily habit, the one that slowly kills drive at its very core, is something almost no one suspects. It's not a food or a lack of exercise. It's something invisible that changes how your brain functions at night and silently drains your life force. It's the habit that connects all the others together. It's the one reason why, no matter how much you rest, eat, or try to stay positive, you still wake up feeling like your fire has gone out. This single factor can determine whether you regain your motivation or lose it completely, and understanding it changes everything about how you live, how you sleep, and how your body renews itself each day. Because this final cause isn't about what you eat or do, it's about what happens to your body's internal wiring while you rest. Most people never think about it, but the body is like an engine that repairs itself at night. When one small process is disturbed, your drive fades faster than you can imagine. And once you know how to fix it, you'll understand how seniors around the world are regaining their natural energy and desire for life in just a few days, without pills, stimulants, or strange remedies. But before we reveal that final piece of the puzzle, it's important to understand how these daily choices slowly connect, how they train your body to accept fatigue as normal, and how breaking this invisible chain can awaken the kind of energy you thought was gone forever. Because the truth is, what feels like aging might not be aging at all. It might be the result of years of small, innocent mistakes that you can start correcting today, one step at a time. For most seniors, the slow decline of energy and drive doesn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happens quietly, almost invisibly, through small daily actions that seem harmless on the surface. Each of the habits we discussed earlier may appear innocent, but together they create a perfect storm that shuts down your natural rhythm, weakens your hormones, and dulls your brain's ability to produce the very chemicals that make you feel alive, curious, and motivated. This is why so many older adults reach a point where they feel as though they've lost control of their own vitality. But the real tragedy is that it's not the body that fails first. It's the pattern of living that makes the body forget how to thrive. Once you understand this connection, you can start taking back your strength one simple choice at a time. Think about how your morning usually begins. Many seniors wake up slowly, sometimes after a night of light, fragmented sleep. The first instinct is to reach for coffee, maybe turn on the news, or sit in silence while trying to wake up. But this routine sets the tone for the entire day. The body doesn't respond to caffeine alone. It responds to rhythm. When you wake up without exposing your eyes to daylight, your internal clock remains confused. You may be awake, but your brain still thinks it's nighttime. Without that morning light, your production of cortisol, the good kind that gives you energy, stays low, while melatonin, the sleep hormone, remains high. So even after a cup of coffee, you feel foggy, dull, and without drive. The solution isn't more caffeine, it's a reset. Simply stepping outside, facing the sun for a few minutes, or even sitting near a bright window while breathing deeply can jumpstart your body's natural energy system. This one small act tells your brain it's time to be alive again. Once your morning rhythm is off, the rest of the day often follows in the same sluggish tone. When you skip a proper breakfast, your blood sugar drops and your brain enters survival mode. The body begins to conserve energy by reducing dopamine and serotonin production, two chemicals that not only control your mood, but also influence your motivation to move, learn, and connect. That's why so many seniors feel unmotivated before noon, blaming age when, in truth, their brain is simply underfed. Adding something as small as a boiled egg, a spoon of peanut butter, or even a handful of nuts in the morning can stabilize your brain chemistry and help you feel focused again. It's not magic, it's biology. Your body is designed to thrive on balance, and every skipped meal throws that balance off a little more. As the day goes on, another hidden trap appears: the passive lifestyle. Many retirees believe that slowing down is natural after decades of work, but inactivity is one of the greatest thieves of energy. When muscles stay idle for long periods, they stop sending the signals that keep the brain active. Movement isn't just about strength or flexibility, it's a communication system. Every time you walk, stretch, or even stand up, your body sends messages to your brain saying, "We're alive, we're active, we need energy." These signals stimulate the release of endorphins and oxygen flow, both crucial for drive. But when you sit for hours, watching TV or scrolling through your phone, your body begins to shut down non-essential systems to save energy. That's when you start feeling slow, not just physically, but mentally. The mind becomes foggy, concentration weakens, and even simple tasks feel exhausting. And yet, here lies the irony. Many seniors say they don't move because they feel tired, but they feel tired because they don't move. It's a vicious cycle, one that begins quietly and ends with the body forgetting how to generate its own vitality. The way out isn't to push yourself with heavy exercise, but to make movement a natural part of your day again. Stretch while watching television, take slow walks after meals, stand while talking on the phone. Even gentle motions like rolling your shoulders or turning your neck send oxygen to the brain and release trapped tension. Within days, your body begins to remember how good it feels to be in motion. Now, let's talk about what happens inside your brain when your daily rhythm collapses. Imagine your brain as a series of light switches controlling energy, focus, and mood. When you stay indoors too long, eat irregularly, avoid movement, or consume too much screen time, each of those switches turns off. You begin to feel disconnected from your environment, less curious, and less responsive to positive experiences. Over time, the brain adapts to this dull state, producing fewer reward chemicals. You might start losing interest in things you once enjoyed: hobbies, conversations, even small pleasures like music or food. It's not depression or aging in most cases. It's chemical fatigue caused by repetitive, unbalanced habits. The body and mind stop working in harmony. This imbalance deepens when we add emotional suppression to the mix. Many seniors carry invisible emotional weight, grief, regret, or unspoken frustration. Instead of processing these feelings, they often push them aside to avoid pain. But what the brain interprets from this suppression is ongoing danger. It releases stress hormones, keeps muscles tense, and restricts blood flow to key areas involved in joy and motivation. Over time, this creates a constant background stress that drains energy even when you're resting. People in this state often describe feeling heavy, empty, or numb. That numbness isn't weakness. It's the body's emergency brake. It's saying, "I'm trying to protect you from more pain." The tragedy is that this protection ends up cutting off your drive. Breaking that cycle begins with permission. Permission to feel, to talk, to express. When you share your emotions with someone you trust, or even write them down, your body interprets this as safety. Stress hormones decrease, your breathing deepens, and your brain begins producing serotonin again. It's a physiological release, not just emotional relief. Seniors who talk openly about their worries, or who find safe ways to express their feelings, often experience remarkable bursts of energy afterward. It's as if a door opens inside them that had been locked for years. The moment tension leaves the body, energy flows again. But perhaps the most subtle destroyer of drive comes from overstimulation. In a world filled with constant noise, news, and flashing screens, the brain is never allowed to rest. For seniors, this is especially dangerous because the nervous system becomes more sensitive with age. What once was background noise now triggers stress responses. The endless stream of fear-based headlines, dramatic stories, and loud entertainment keeps the body in a state of alertness. It's like driving a car with your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time. You're moving, but you're burning out your engine. Over time, this constant tension erodes motivation and joy. You stop seeking real experiences because your brain is already overloaded with artificial stimulation. That's why reducing exposure to screens, especially before bedtime, is one of the most powerful things you can do for your health. Studies show that seniors who spend less time watching TV or scrolling at night experience better sleep, stronger memory, and more consistent energy during the day. Light from screens disrupts melatonin production, the hormone that signals your body, it's time to rest. Without enough melatonin, your sleep becomes shallow, and your body misses its chance to repair itself. And when your brain doesn't rest properly, your drive fades faster than anything else. You can't wake up ready for life if your body never got to recover overnight. This brings us to another critical point: sleep quality. Many people believe that sleeping fewer hours as you age is normal, but poor sleep isn't caused by age. It's caused by habits that confuse your body's natural rhythm. Eating too late, spending hours on screens, or drinking coffee in the afternoon keeps your nervous system active when it should be winding down. Even a small cup of coffee at 4 p.m. can reduce your deep sleep by up to 30%, according to sleep researchers. That means your brain doesn't fully recharge. The next day, you wake up groggy, reach for more caffeine, and repeat the same pattern. Over time, this becomes a self-sustaining loop of fatigue. The body's drive is directly tied to its ability to rest deeply. During sleep, your brain clears out toxins that build up during the day. Your cells repair themselves, and your hormones rebalance. This is when testosterone, growth hormone, and dopamine, three key elements for drive, are restored. Without this nightly reset, no amount of vitamins or motivation techniques will work. The fix, however, doesn't require pills or complicated solutions. It's about respecting your body's clock again. Finish dinner early, dim the lights in your home as night approaches, and give your mind space to slow down. If you can, avoid heavy emotional discussions or stressful content before bed. Instead, listen to calm music, read a gentle story, or reflect on something positive that happened that day. This simple change prepares your brain to release the right hormones for sleep and repair. Now, there's one more habit that connects all the others, a hidden link that explains why so many seniors feel drained even when they try to eat well, move more, and rest properly. It's something that affects how your cells produce energy, how your brain signals motivation, and how your body interprets every message from your environment. This invisible factor can undo all your efforts if left unchecked. It's not about food or exercise, it's about how your body reacts to light, temperature, and rhythm. When this reaction is disturbed, your cells forget when to wake up and when to rest. Your mitochondria, the energy engines of your cells, slow down. Your drive fades, your sleep weakens, and your mind becomes foggy. Scientists call this circadian misalignment, and it's one of the most common hidden causes of low energy in older adults. Circadian misalignment happens when your daily habits confuse your biological clock. Artificial lights at night, late-night meals, irregular sleep hours, or even sleeping in a dark room during the day all send mixed signals to your body. Imagine your brain as a conductor of an orchestra. If the instruments start playing out of sync, the music turns chaotic. That's what happens inside you. Hormones, metabolism, and even digestion start conflicting with each other. You might eat well, but your body won't use that food correctly because it's out of rhythm. The good news is that this is entirely reversible. Rebalancing your circadian rhythm begins with consistency. Waking up and going to bed at the same time every day, exposing yourself to morning light, and reducing light exposure at night tell your body exactly when to produce energy and when to rest. Within a week, your sleep improves. Within 2, your energy stabilizes. Within 3, your motivation and mental sharpness begin to return. But there's still one more layer, something that often prevents seniors from ever reaching this point. It's the final, most critical habit, the hidden behavior that amplifies all others and quietly drains your life force every single night. It affects not just your energy, but your hormones, your focus, and even your mood. And it has to do with what happens while you sleep, often without your knowledge or control. Understanding this final piece is what finally brings everything together, revealing how to restore your natural drive and make your body feel decades younger again. When night falls and the world grows quiet, most people assume their body finally rests, that sleep is a time of peace, recovery, and healing. But for millions of seniors, the night is not a time of true restoration, it's a silent battlefield. This is where the 8th and most destructive habit takes place, the one that drains the body's vitality little by little, every single night, without a sound. And the strange part is, you might not even be aware it's happening. You may think you're resting, but inside, your body is fighting to breathe, to balance oxygen, to maintain life itself. The final habit that kills your drive isn't what you do when you're awake. It's what happens to your body when you sleep. The human body depends on deep, slow, rhythmic breathing to restore itself at night. But as we age, our breathing patterns often change. The muscles in the throat weaken, the tongue relaxes more than before, and sometimes the airway becomes partially blocked. This leads to something called sleep-disordered breathing, a spectrum that includes snoring and sleep apnea. Many seniors shrug off snoring as harmless, but it's far from that. Each time your breathing is interrupted, even for just a few seconds, your brain senses danger. It sends a jolt of adrenaline to wake you slightly, forcing your heart to beat faster and your blood pressure to rise. You might not remember waking up, but these interruptions can happen dozens, even hundreds of times per night, and each one robs your brain of oxygen, preventing it from entering the deep, restorative stages of sleep it needs to produce hormones of vitality and motivation. This is why you can sleep for 8 hours and still wake up exhausted. It's why so many seniors wake up with headaches, dry mouths, or a feeling of fog that doesn't go away until hours later. Over time, this oxygen deprivation silently drains your drive. When the brain doesn't get enough oxygen during the night, it reduces production of dopamine and testosterone, two essential components of motivation and energy. It also increases cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps you tense and tired at the same time. Day by day, this imbalance becomes stronger until the person begins to feel detached, slower, and less engaged with life. And because it happens so gradually, most people never suspect their nightly breathing is the cause. But here's what's truly remarkable. When seniors correct this one invisible habit, everything else begins to improve almost automatically. The fog clears, focus returns, and that sense of inner drive comes back stronger than before. Fixing your sleep breathing doesn't require medication or invasive treatments for most people. It begins with awareness and small, consistent adjustments that allow your body to breathe freely throughout the night. The first step is to look at your sleep position. Lying flat on your back allows gravity to pull your tongue and soft tissues backward, narrowing the airway. Simply sleeping on your side can dramatically reduce snoring and improve airflow. Some people even use soft pillows or wedges to slightly elevate their head and neck, which keeps the airway open. The second step is to keep your nasal passages clear. Many older adults breathe through their mouths while sleeping, which dries out the throat and increases resistance in the airway. Nasal breathing, on the other hand, naturally warms and filters the air, supporting healthy oxygen flow. If you suffer from nasal congestion or dryness, simple measures such as saline sprays or a humidifier in your bedroom can make a huge difference. These aren't complicated solutions. They're small adjustments that restore your body's natural design. Next comes the environment. The body's ability to rest deeply depends on the quality of air, temperature, and light in your room. Most seniors unknowingly sleep in bedrooms that are too warm, too bright, or filled with electronic noise. The ideal sleep environment is cool, dark, and quiet. Scientists have found that a room temperature around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit helps your body lower its core temperature, signaling that it's time to enter deep sleep. Darkness, on the other hand, tells your brain to release melatonin, the hormone that triggers recovery. Even small lights from digital clocks, televisions, or phones can confuse your body's rhythm and interfere with hormone production. Turning these off, or covering them, gives your body the message it's been waiting for. It's safe to rest. Another overlooked factor is alcohol. Many seniors believe a small drink before bed helps them sleep, but alcohol disrupts your breathing and prevents deep rest. It relaxes the muscles in the throat even more, making airway obstruction more likely. If you wake up tired after drinking, it's not just dehydration, it's oxygen loss. Reducing alcohol intake, especially in the evening, can lead to immediate improvements in morning energy. Likewise, heavy dinners late at night force your digestive system to keep working while your body tries to rest, reducing both sleep quality and oxygen flow. Eating earlier in the evening, at least 2 hours before bedtime, allows your system to settle and helps you fall asleep naturally. Once your breathing and environment are optimized, the body begins to repair itself automatically. Within days, many people notice they wake up feeling lighter, clearer, and calmer. Within weeks, motivation starts returning. This isn't coincidence, It's biology resetting itself. When the brain finally receives consistent oxygen, it begins producing dopamine again. This chemical acts like the body's internal spark. It gives you the will to move, to laugh, to engage with life. Testosterone and growth hormone also recover, which improve energy, focus, and overall sense of vitality. In short, fixing how you breathe at night reignites the very systems that make you feel alive during the day. But there's a deeper truth here. Your drive is not something you lost with age. It's something that's been quietly buried under years of disrupted rhythms and neglected self-care. Each of the 8 habits we've discussed feeds into the others, forming a cycle that steals your energy without you realizing it. Skipping breakfast leads to low blood sugar. Staying indoors blocks sunlight and serotonin. Inactivity reduces oxygen circulation. Too much news and screen time overstimulates stress hormones. Dehydration thickens your blood and slows your mind. Eating late disrupts sleep hormones. Bottling emotions traps your body in constant alertness. And then, as the final blow, poor breathing at night deprives your brain of the oxygen it needs to repair everything. Together, these habits create the illusion of aging, but in reality, they are patterns you can change. Reclaiming your drive begins with awareness, then action. You don't need to change everything overnight. Choose one habit and correct it for a week. Wake up with the sun and take a short walk outside. Notice how your mood changes when you eat a real breakfast instead of skipping it. Drink more water and see how your mind clears. Each small correction reactivates part of your natural rhythm. As you rebuild these layers, your energy returns gradually, steadily, and deeply. It's not a miracle. It's your body remembering how to function as it was designed to. And what happens next is extraordinary. Seniors who make these changes often describe feeling as if someone turned the lights back on inside them. Their thoughts become sharper, their curiosity stronger, their will to live and connect reawakens. Relationships improve because they have energy to listen and laugh again. Even their posture and expression change because the body finally has the strength to support itself. When you restore oxygen, rhythm, and emotional balance, everything improves at once. Now, some may wonder how to know if poor breathing or sleep apnea is affecting them. There are a few signs to watch for: loud or frequent snoring, dry mouth in the morning, headaches upon waking, or sudden gasping at night. Even without these signs, if you consistently wake up tired, it's worth paying attention. Sometimes, simply tracking how rested you feel after improving your habits can tell you more than any test. If symptoms persist, talk to a healthcare professional. They can help evaluate your sleep health safely and effectively. Remember, taking care of your breathing is not vanity. It's the foundation of your vitality. At this point, you might realize that these 8 habits aren't just about physical health, they're about how your body and mind communicate. Your brain listens to every signal you send it through your daily choices. When you feed it well, move naturally, rest deeply, and breathe fully, it responds by releasing energy and joy. But when you confuse it with irregular routines, artificial light, stress, and shallow rest, it withdraws that energy as protection. The great news is that the body is forgiving. No matter your age, it's ready to reset the moment you give it the right rhythm again. Let's summarize this action plan clearly, so you can start applying it right now. First, start your morning with natural sunlight and a real breakfast rich in protein. Second, stay hydrated throughout the day. Keep water nearby and sip regularly. Third, reduce screen exposure, especially before bedtime, to calm your mind and protect your sleep hormones. Fourth, add gentle movement every day. It doesn't matter how much. What matters is consistency. Fifth, express your emotions. Talk, write, or share so your body stops holding unnecessary tension. Sixth, finish dinner early and keep your evenings calm. Seventh, create a sleep environment that supports your breathing, cool, dark, and quiet. And finally, pay attention to how you breathe while sleeping. Sleep on your side, keep your airway clear, and allow your body to restore itself fully every night. When you do these things, you're not fighting aging. You're cooperating with your biology. You're giving your body permission to do what it's always known how to do: heal, energize, and thrive. The spark of drive isn't lost with age. It simply waits for the right conditions to shine again. Every breath you take, every drop of sunlight you absorb, and every mindful choice you make brings that light back to the surface. In the end, regaining your drive isn't about chasing youth. It's about embracing life. It's about waking up every day feeling ready, purposeful, and connected to yourself again. No matter how old you are, your body still holds the blueprint of vitality. All you have to do is stop the habits that silence it and nurture the ones that keep it alive. Start small, stay consistent, and watch how quickly that inner fire returns. The truth is simple. You are not broken, you are not too old, and it's never too late to feel alive again.